So now we come to 2.0. What is it? So it's, in very simple terms, a far deeper level of analysis and application of more sophisticated tools that are not just Excel-based, but leverage AI and machine learning applications based on languages such as Python, R. So this is the sort of stuff we need to be looking at to really drive the next leg of value creation in this environment. Why? Because not many people are doing this, but there are opportunities to leverage the data sets within our businesses to work out ways of optimizing pricing, reducing costs even further, improving process efficiency, so on and so forth. I've spent the last week pretty much out at Evolution with some frustration because, I was disappointed to see that looking under the bonnet, the pricing algorithm's too strong a word, but the pricing model we created back in 2012, Excel-based, has kind of just vanished. And they're going back to everyone's doing their own thing. And I made a comment to Marshall, the CEO, if Evolution had a couple of mathematicians, it would be just killing it. Dynamic pricing. Who was the earliest adopter of dynamic pricing? Correct, in an industry. Hotels after that. Who does it? I mean, we experience it every day, right, as consumers. Who does it most? Uber, Airbnb, all this sort of stuff. So it's nothing new, but I guess what's new is algorithms are driving that, and they're increasingly relying on machine learning to learn and apply and mold the pricing model to capture the last incremental dollar from every single customer segment possible. Robotic process automation, so this is introducing robots like payroll robots into your organization. I've been trying to convince Evolution to look at that and embrace that. Big change management component, obviously, there's resistance to that culturally. So all of this stuff, I can tell you in Australia, no one's really doing this really in a consistent, certainly at an SME or mid-market level. Some of the large organizations are doing this, and I know this because I've spoken to an RPA group, which Rahim knows as well. I've spoken to sales predictive analytics people. I've spoken to dynamic pricing consultants. I didn't know this until 3 months ago when I was talking to Ed. You can have machine learning as software. You can have, it's free. It's a freemium model. And he ran through a live, which I'll get him to do when he's here, a live example of how you can apply that to your business and find disaffected customers of your competitors through mining, Facebook, Twitter, etc., and immediately capture them, refer them to your salespeople, bang, there you go. So machine learning as a software, and it's not expensive. So SaaS stands for software as a service. So in essence, you're trying to convert one-time sales into more subscription annuity style revenue streams and creating value that way, or more value that way. What does that mean in terms of talent acquisition there? Where do we find this type of skill set? And this has been a real paradigm shift for me in the last 12 months as I've learned more about this and sort of, I don't go to London just for football, just to dispel notions, but I actually do learn things for the business. From a talent acquisition perspective, this has historically been the fishing ground, right? We go to Bain, BCG, McKinsey, Deloitte, PwC to recruit operational 1.0 talent, if you will. That's the conventional thinking. So that's traditionally been where we would naturally go to find talent. I've realized that's not right, actually, in a 2.0 context. This is where we need to be going. What a great name, Polymathian Industrial Maths. So Hugh Durant-White introduced me to them. I'm bringing them into Evolution next week. So imagine that, traffic controllers and mathematicians. That's going to be hilarious. So they've designed processes, apps for Rio Tinto and the like. Very strong recommendation from Hugh. And what we're trying to do at Evolution, we've got this age-old problem of optimization. Very simple terms, Evolution is a business about optimizing allocation of labor and fleet. That's being done by depot managers, as are a lot of logistics style businesses. Can we use an algorithm to do that? Intersect, Sales Predict. Has anyone heard of this company? This is an awesome company. Unfortunately, well, fortunate for them, they got bought out by eBay last year. So Israeli company, I would encourage you to look at the YouTube clip of the founder talking about her business. They can do stuff like predict how your sales are going to go. There's one radical example where something crazy like beaching of pilot whales could predict your next quarter's revenue, because it's predictive in terms of weather patterns and psychologically what that does to consumers. Tropify. So Hugh's using these guys now. They're out of St. Louis from memory. Platform for problem solvers, machine learning. Their business is how do you convert your existing business into like an app store type of platform. So why does all this stuff matter? I'm not about beating up private equity. This is not what it's all about. As I said, private equity is great at introducing urgency, pace into a business. This is about showing what sort of multiples you're having to pay now to be in the game. And back in 1998, you're paying on average, this is a US example, 8 times EBITDA versus the stock market at 12 times. In this period here, why did it go down? I was buying Woolworths here in 1999 at 5 times EBITDA, because everyone thought Woolworths would go out of business. They will now in the next 10 years because of Amazon. But that was incredible. That was crazy. And obviously this is inflated by the tech bubble. But now you're seeing this where there's a real triangulation of public multiples and private multiples. So your natural arbitrage is gone. What about the mid-market? So, theoretically, or historically, the mid-market's been cheaper and more fat available and more opportunities to drive return. Same thing is happening. We're at higher multiples now than we were at pre-GFC, and leverage levels are at an all-time high. So basically, playing the financial engineering game of arbitraging between multiples is getting harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just getting harder. And it is harder to extract value, as we've talked about, through just 1.0 stuff, because businesses are more efficient. Why does it matter? Reason 2. Anyone know who this guy is? Larry Fink. Has anyone read his CEO letter? He wrote a letter to CEO. My natural reaction was, that's great, but you're so rich you can say that. But it's true. This is exactly what's happening. And sorry, I spilled some oil on the article. But this was an article in the FT from last week, the backlash against shareholder value. So the 1980s, 90s, and the early 2000s were all about shareholder value, which basically means profits. But today, it's not enough anymore. People want to know how you made those returns and really understanding the levers of value creation and how you've been able to achieve that and whether it's real or not. And this is particularly prevalent in the family office community. And increasingly so in the institutional. Why does it matter, number 3? This is Slack. I've mentioned this book to a few of you, Exponential Organizations. I highly recommend it as a read, especially before the next circle of leadership. Why new organizations are 10 times better, faster, and cheaper than yours, and what to do about it. So I heard Salim speak last year. He's with Singularity University. Very practical book. And we're going to show this video, which was a speaker I heard 2 weeks ago in Singapore.